Ndị be anyị kenekwanụ m unu. Anyị sị ka nkonye chiri ya zelụkwa. Anyị si ndụ mmiri ndụ azụ mmiri atara m azụ anwụra. Anyị sọ ya dara n'Igbo na mma na ya dịka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru ya otu akọ ya dịrịrị ise ise ise. Dịka o si dị ife anyị ji maka ewebe n'iru akwụkwọ bụ ya bụ program anyị na-eme every morning na anyị na-akpọ ya morning tea n'iru akwụkwọ. Ebe ife ka anyị ji maka ya wee bịa o nwere nnukwu update anyị wetara n'iru akwụkwọ. Ife a bụ cabinet meeting on United States of Biafra gbasara maka the way forward and the update on Biafran Prime Minister and Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Ya bụ ife ka anyị chịkọrọ, ya bụ ife ka anyị wetara n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Biko ọ bụ na nke ụbọchị izi gị kaba alụ ka ịtụsa ya bụ ozi na ị ga-esia ya and dropụra ife iche n'ụdị nke gị gbasara maka ya bụ ife niile na ụmụnne anyị dị iche iche kwugasịrị n'iru akwụkwọ on their own opinion. All right, over to you, sir.
Through history, our resources have been exploited. It is still ongoing by Nigeria and its foreign allies. And our environment has been polluted and grossly damaged in the process of extracting the natural resources and has as such ruined other means of livelihood for the people. Biafra strongly says no to these decades of exploitative acts and will not give room for such to prevail or continue to prevail. We have also notified all foreign companies milking the crude oil in Biafra land to start paying the 50 million naira or 50 million AJ, which is the Biafran currency, into the Biafra government purse every month. This money will help us rebuild our nation from the devastation that's come upon us by these countries. It will also help us rebuild our nation and help us provide basic resources to our people in areas of healthcare, education, economic, agriculture, and immigration services. Such amount is a drop in the ocean compared to the thousands of dollars these companies get monthly from the Biafra territory. Public announcements have also been made on that the Monday sit at home is active in all Biafra land to tell the oil companies and the Nigerian agents that Biafra is a sovereign nation. The Monday sit at home continues and has continued for the past 2 years voluntarily by all Biafrans to send a message that Biafra is a sovereign nation and to release our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, who has been held by the Biafran state for the past 4 or 5 years, despite the law system, despite the United Nations Committee that told Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu and compensate him. Nigerian state have refused to do that. The Monday sit at home continues. Why we must remain steadfast in defending our independence? We all know that we as a people have been fighting against transnational repression, hostile occupation of Biafra land, and influx of terrorist insurgents and militias into our territory, sponsored and ordered by our now neighbor and ex, the failed entity. What haven't we been subjected to? Is it the repression system, the persecution of Christians? Biafrans are mostly Christians. The human rights violations for decades, the multiple and perpetual genocide, or the relentless extinction threats. Biafrans are mostly Christians, traditionalists, and Judaists. Just to name some of the spacious acts of extinction driven with impunity. The 1945 sudden and savage attack on Biafrans resident in the north, who were taken completely by surprise by the Nigerian state. And before the situation could be brought under control, the bodies of Biafran men, women, and children littered the streets and their property worth thousands of pounds, reduced to shambles. No consequence on those responsible. No compensation to Biafrans. The 1966 massacre of more than 700,000 Biafrans all over the failed state, simply for being Biafrans. It's only now, almost 60 years later, that some main actors and perpetrators are coming out to acknowledge their evil deed with their final boarding pass in their hands. Our own heroes, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu and General Philip Effiong, as well as several other actors, narrated the true story. But the crooks either declined from commenting or went on perpetuating their lies, only to start now to attract last attention and honor for committing such atrocity on mankind. Even with their book of cruelty, they know themselves and know fully well that they have not told it all. This shows how determined they have always been on accomplishing their project of extinction of us, as they continued to do. The 1967 to 1970, together with their colonial master Britain and almost the entire world power, they executed the genocidal war that took the lives of over 5 million Biafrans. The main man, with his body pass, begging to board, sheltered in their colonial master's land, wants to carry his evil to the other side. Most of them at this point have the passport about to leave because of the crime they committed against Biafra people. We leave it up to the spirit of these millions of Biafrans together with our invisible God to fight for us. Then the RRRK, the Reconciliation, Rehabilitation, and Reparation, which was never implemented, and the 20 pounds given to our people in place of their huge wealth. At the end of the Biafra-Nigeria Civil War, all Biafrans all over Nigeria, regardless of how much millions, regardless of how much thousands of pounds you have in your account, the Nigerian state gave them, each and every one of them, only 20 pounds, equivalent of, if you have $20,000, if you have $1 million, if you have $100 million in your account in Nigerian state, by the end of the Civil War, Biafrans all over Nigeria were giving only 20 pounds. Let me say equivalent of $20, regardless of how much you have in your bank account. That is what Nigerian state did to us, to our parents and to our grandparents. The crackdown on subsequent Biafra activists to hold us in bondage to the detriment of our people, while they and their Western allies continue to exploit our natural resources, leaving our environment polluted and grossly damaged in the process of extracting the natural resources, and has as such ruined other means of livelihood for the people. Biafra strongly says no. No to these decades of exploitative acts, and will not give room for such to prevail or for such to continue. The perpetual act of intimidation. Several hundreds of Biafrans have since been unlived. Simple for being Biafrans. Simple for being Biafrans. For being Christians or traditional worshippers or Judaism or their human and natural resources. Simply for this, Nigeria armored tanks are in several quiet communities of Biafra land as I speak now. The current situation of our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in the hands of our ex, and that of our prime minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, in the hands of our Finland, through the current Finnish government, in the hands of our ex too, should be able to convince every Biafra to support what we are doing. Both leaders should be appreciated and held high for standing in the gap for us. With the evidence in our position, their persecutions are simply politically and economically motivated by both oppressors. Their situation is quite provoking. The failed and criminal entity has since 2021, without any reason, and even acting against its own constitution and court judgments, denied our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is in possession of British passport, his basic human rights for freedom and right to agitate for self-determination for us, his people, the indigenous people of Biafra. Their government kidnapped him from Kenya and has since then held him incarcerated under DSS in Nigeria. Notably, the government of the international community, including the current Finnish government, instead of calling Nigerian government to order, has remained mute about our situation and rather proceeded their economic deals with the entity using our population and our resources. Our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, who is in possession of the Finland's national passport, has for close to 4 months now gotten his freedom infringed upon by the criminal enterprise and the current Finnish government. In Finland, it's obvious that our lives still don't seem to matter to our oppressors. Our lives do not matter to you. It does not matter to our oppressor, Nigeria and co. But our resources do matter to them. I know that many of you are wondering about the current Finnish government's position here. It's all about hypocrisy and double morals. But be assured that they will all reap what they sow, positively or negatively. As far as this Biafra government is concerned, the current Finnish government consents to and is hence co-responsible for the atrocities carried out on our people since November 2024. The current Finnish government has, through its unprecedented act, sabotaged the security of our nation. Our Prime Minister's absence has devastating consequences. He's been denied freedom and the right to continue leading the people of Biafra. Biafrans all over the world are devastated and worried. A record high number of atrocities and killing of hundreds of Biafrans have occurred in Biafra land since the current Finnish government's action against us and our Prime Minister in November 2024. Nigerians' human rights violation on our people is on record high, as it has intensified its efforts to intimidate, invade, and occupy our land in an effort to make us back down on our independence so that it will continue to occupy our sovereign land. No, no, no. In addition to our both leaders who are unlawfully put away by Nigeria and Finland, many Biafrans are abducted without any cause and are languishing in criminal entities, prisons, and confinements across Nigeria and in Finland, simply because they are identified as indigenous people of Biafra. They show solidarity for Biafra's self-determination. They are Christians or traditionalists or Jewish by religion or faith. Even not having enough money, ready to be extorted by their terrorist armies, and police scattered all over the Biafra territory, is enough to be kidnapped, killed, or imprisoned. The external oppressors. We take note of the dirty game the foreign governments, like the current Finnish government and Britain, are already playing, probably positioning themselves and mobilizing for a new round of genocidal war of extinction of the people of Biafra. It will not go unnoticed or without consequences as far as the Biafran government is concerned. We advise them to do the right thing now, and instruct their partner, their agent of the failed entity, to restore the freedom of our boat leaders. Man up and withdraw their stranglehold on the people of God. Stop the acts of intimidation. Rather, honor our invitation for a civilized and constructive discussion as equals to make the world a better place. Its government are crowned for habitually violating human rights, religious freedom, and democratic rules. An act marked by our people being slaughtered in cold blood, others driven out of their homes simply because of their ethnicity and religion. Our women are being raped and grossly assaulted. Biafrans are kidnapped and extorted for money and even butchered. Biafran youths and fathers are eliminated. Think of how many dreams of the people of Biafra that have been silenced all through these years. With these in mind, we shouldn't all relent in your support. 110 years of bondage, pain, and setback. Lies upon lies. Enough is more than enough. Biafrans want to go home and build our countries and deliver the same basic things that you all enjoy in your own countries. I think it's a fair statement. With this in mind, we shouldn't all relent in your support. 110 years of bondage, pain, and setback is what Biafrans have been going through. The same reason the young military men wanted to take over in 1966, the same reason for the Aburi Agreement in Ghana in 1967, which Gowon and his cohorts walked away from shortly after signing it. Rather, with full intent, aggressively descended on and to the extent of the Biafra people. The same reason the entity has now collapsed completely. Nigeria entity has collapsed. It's a failed state and termed a criminal enterprise, namely corruption among the political elites and bad governance. Yet, millions of Biafran have been victimized and paid with their blood. That is why we have taken over our own governance. The Biafra government, our reinstated nation, is a clear alternative to the criminal and failed state we have been bound to. In all ramifications, it is nation of confederating states. Our constitution is written by the people of Biafra. Our nation stands on our people's overwhelming mandate, and we have a shared history, quest, and determination. Unlike the geographical entity mapped out of economic and political motivations, the map of the United States of Biafra encompasses natural borders and is drawn based on natural principles and our ancestral heritage. More so, the government of Biafra is committed to preserving human rights, applying law, order, ethics, respect, and moral, and ensuring the freedom and well-being of the people, all the people that follow the laws of the United States of Biafra. We committed to fostering an environment designed to attract local and foreign investments, stimulate innovation, and create opportunities for entrepreneurship and job creation. We will provide a secure and transparent business climate with streamlined regulations and investment incentives. We aspire to become a hub for trade, commerce, and industry, leveraging our strategic location, abundant resources, and skilled workforce to drive economic growth, reduce poverty, and improve our citizens' overall quality of life. In our land, the people, young and old, infant or child, male or female, family, stand in the center of whatever we're doing as a Biafran government. And we are not going to compromise that, especially with the solid mandate you have entrusted us with. We have provision for everyone at all stages in life. So the Biafra government efforts are meant to benefit every Biafran, including you. We have designed and are committed to a national structure and program which cares for all our people from birth until pension, old age, and natural death. A people-focused structure, and we will have the financial capacity to implement and fulfill these as soon as we secure our territory and natural resources. Our youths are challenged, pose a challenge, and need us urgently, both through prayer and good governance, especially the displaced and frustrated ones and those who have had to join the underworld. We will dialogue with them to restore hope and enthusiasm in them. The Biafra government is working tirelessly to provide our people with better tomorrow, full of opportunities. We need you to anticipate this fact and participate positively in this process to get there as soon as we secure our territory. They will be overwhelmed with opportunities, job, education, sports. We all know that our struggle for self-determination and now an independent state is deeply rooted in the desire to escape this oppressive regime and for the existence Biafrans. We are on course in building a nation founded on the principles of justice, equity, respect, and human dignity, knowing fully well our history from there, what it has and is still subjecting our people to. We hold it so high to reinstate freedom, human rights, and dignity to our people, ethics and moral in dealing with one another, respect for the rule of law. Sanity must be restored in our land as a fundamental factor for us to thrive and be able to obtain our full potential. Defense. With our decentralized military structure, we have 40 state commanders and deputies working closely with the state administrators, executive, and state special training forces. This is our format laid down by our Prime Minister. These state
ndị be anyị ngwadalụ nne nnukwu n'isi wee na-esonyere anyị n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa ka efi were ekwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ihe Biafran Chief of Staff kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ bụ Dr. NGOZI ORABUEZE. Gịnị ka i were ekwu n'ụdị nke gị gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile nọ okwu n'iru akwụkwọ? Drọpụọla ya alụ gị, drọpụọla ife iche n'ụdị nke gị ka a mara ife iche your own reaction gbasịta maka ya bụ ife na Eastern News 24 ebe anyị si wetara ya bụ ozi. Ọzọ dị ka ịbịa bụ tụsakwa ya bụ ozi ka ụmụnne anyị dozi n'ebe dị iche iche wee marakwa ife na-emenụ and wee mara the update on the latest development on Biafra Republic government in exile. Daalụ rinne na ụmụnne m ka emesịanụ.